This is Coffee with God, and I am Father Jose. Let us begin this day with the Word of God and a short reflection.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John, chapter 7, verses 1 to 2, verse 10, verses 25 to 30. The passage is taken from the Message version of the Bible. Later, Jesus was going about his business in Galilee. He didn't want to travel in Judea because the Jews there were looking for a chance to kill him. It was near the time of the Tabernacles, a feast observed annually by the Jews. He said this and stayed on in Galilee. But later, after his family had gone up to the feast, he also went. But he kept out of the way, careful not to draw attention to himself. The Jews were already out looking for him, asking around, "Where is that man?" That's when some of the people of Jerusalem said, "Isn't this the one they were out to kill? And here he is out in the open, saying whatever he pleases, and no one is stopping him." Could it be that the rulers know that he is, in fact, the Messiah? And yet we know where this man came from. The Messiah is going to come out of nowhere. No one is going to know where he comes from. That provoked Jesus, who was teaching in the temple, to cry out, "Yes, you think you know me and where I'm from, but that's not where I'm from. I didn't set myself up in business. My true origin is in the one who sent me, and you don't know him at all. I come from him. That's how I know him. He sent me here." They were looking for a way to arrest him, but not a hand was laid on him because it wasn't yet God's time. Many from the crowd committed themselves in faith to him, saying, "Will the Messiah, when he comes, provide better or more convincing evidence than this?" The Gospel of the Lord.
Reflections on the Holy Gospel according to St. John chapter 7 verses 1 and 2, 10 and 25 to 30. All of us experience times when we struggle to explain something, and no matter how hard we try, others fail to get the point we are trying to make. I often struggle with my accent and wrong pronunciations to make my point clear to my parishioners or to my community. And of course, I thought the problem was theirs. How do they not understand what is so clear to me? As we approach the closing weeks of Lent, we hear today from St. John the evangelist, who makes a great reflection on the journeys that Jesus made to Judea and reveals incidents that the other evangelists do not. John notices that Jesus is confining his activities to Galilee. He did not want to go to Judea and the vicinity of Jerusalem because people there wanted to kill him. Jesus does not expose himself unnecessarily to danger and waits for his time. It is the time of the Feast of Tabernacles, but today's reading does not mention about the feast. We reflected on this passage in detail last Sunday. The Feast of Tabernacles was one of the three major feasts of the Jews. Many Jews came from all over the land of Israel and from other countries on pilgrimage to Jerusalem for the feast. The family members of Jesus are urging him to go up to Jerusalem and show himself to the world instead of confining himself to the village. Jesus declined. But after they had left, he, probably accompanied by the apostles, secretly went up to the feast. The secrecy is easy to understand in the light of the threats against Jesus. But what happens next is not so easy to understand. How do we explain first the secrecy and then the lack of it? Jesus is a source of confusion in the minds of many people. On the one hand, The people are aware that Jesus has become a target of their religious leaders. Yet he goes about openly speaking freely and without fear. The word of God cannot remain silent, or the word of God cannot be chained. Jesus then tells them, "Yes, you know me, and you know where I come from." That is only partially true. Rather, they think they know. Do we really know who Jesus is? There are many conflicting opinions out there. But to know the real Jesus, we must go back to the scriptures, read them, reread them, pray with them, and strive to live by the word of God. Lent invites us to spend time with the word of God and to make it a practice that goes far beyond Lent.